Grand Market, and I'd like to share some tips on how you can make this beautiful gingerbread house for your family and friends for Christmas. So the first thing you want to do is take 125 grams of unsalted butter and pop that into your bowl. And the sugar, which is 120 grams of caster sugar, straight in. Just let that mix until it comes together and becomes a little more creamier so that the butter has incorporated the sugar and it's nice and creamy. So sometimes you might have cooked with your grandma like I did, and she would have used a spoon or a fork to do that work for you. Took a little while, but still the same result. So it just goes a little bit paler in colour as the butter incorporates the sugar and it creams nicely together. That looks like it's coming together nicely now, and it's a little bit lighter in colour, so we can turn that off and add 1 egg yolk. And that's 80 grams of honey. Beautiful Australian honey, of course. And then pop that back onto mix again. And that looks good. Into 2 cups of flour. We've just got 2 teaspoons of ground ginger and 1 teaspoon of bicarb soda. Give that a little mix around and then just pop that into the mixer with the other ingredients. And on she goes again. Just start it slow so you haven't got flour all over the place. Just increase the speed a little bit more. Okay, that looks like it's come together nicely now, so we're ready to take it out of the bowl. And just use your hands, get in there, enjoy yourself, have a bit of fun, get the kids involved. This is a perfect thing to make with the kids, like Play-Doh, but you can actually get a result at the end rather than just a big mess. Just bring it together really easily. You don't need to knead it or anything like that. Pop it into the Glad wrap and wrap it up. Okay, we're going to pop that in the fridge to rest, and then we'll roll it out in a little while. Okay, so that's been in the fridge for 15 minutes, and so it'll be nice and pliable for us to roll it out. But if you leave it in there a bit longer and it's too hard, just leave it out on the bench for sort of 10 to 15 minutes and it'll still be nice for you to roll out and you'll be able to work with it easily. Just a little bit of flour. It won't stick anyway, but that just makes it easier. Move that around. And I'm just going to cut a piece off. Pastry is a lot more of your friend if you're not overworking it, touching it too many times, rolling it out too many times. It's much easier to work with. So just a little bit of extra flour, some on my rolling pin. So here's a tip for you. The first time that I made the gingerbread house, I rolled out all of this dough into one big piece. What a disaster. When I went to cut it, it wasn't happy and it was much harder to work with. So a tip is, keep it simple and just roll out enough for what you need at one piece at a time. So take whatever template you've got. I like to use the bigger pieces first because while the pastry is still in its first roll, if you like to call it that, it's nicer to do the larger pieces first. It just works a lot easier for you. Just roll the knife along and move those pieces out of the way. Run the knife along just to loosen it so it'll make it easier for you to lift it up. You don't have to make a gingerbread house with this dough, you can just make cookies. I know cooking with my grandma, she didn't have a lot of utensils and that sort of thing. Like me, I love a good gadget purchase, but she just used basically glasses from the cupboard for scones or biscuits, whatever she was doing. So I'm just doing that to put some flour around the edge of the cutter, and then that way it won't stick. Just remove the excess pieces away and then gently pick up the trees or whichever part of the the gingerbread house it is that you're making, and pop it onto the baking tray. I've just lined this with some paper. I don't like to clean up anything I don't have to. Plus I don't want it to stick to the pan. And the Christmas wreath looks boring now, but we're going to decorate that and it'll be beautiful. So that's all baking in the oven. Let's get started with the icing. We're making a royal icing today, which is so easy. It's just egg whites and icing sugar. and that's all there is as far as the ingredients for that one. So just into a bowl, pop in. I'm just using 1 egg white here, and that's enough for this house here, but if you were making more, obviously just increase it. And just some plain old icing sugar. So start with a little bit. And just mix it to incorporate. Now the thing to remember when making icing is liquid is key. If you put in a lot of liquid, you are going to need so much of the dry to make that the right consistency. So just start with a little bit of the liquid, otherwise you'll be racing back down to the shop to get some more icing sugar because you've run out. Okay, that's come together really well and it's looking the right consistency. So see how it's still going to hold its shape, it's not runny, and that's going to be the perfect glue for our gingerbread house. Just a little bit, because we're mainly using white for the decoration, and pop that into a separate bowl, and then just a touch of the green. So I'm happy with that colour green. You can add a bit more and make it a bit greener if you'd like to, but I like to keep it looking as natural as I can. We're going to use some disposable piping bags today for our piping. They're super easy to use, and because they're disposable, when you're finished, the cleanup's easy. So we're going to use more of the white icing, so we'll fill this one up first. I've folded the edges of the icing bag just so that when you pop the icing in, it doesn't come right the way up and make a big mess. That one's ready. And the green one we're going to use for the decoration on the flowers and also for the wreaths and the Christmas tree. Our pieces for the gingerbread house are out of the oven and the house smells beautiful from the baking of these. Now I've let them to cool. They need to be cool so that they harden up. If they're soft, the pieces will break when you put the house together. So they need to be nice and cool so you can handle them and for them to come together. So the icing bag here, first of all, we're going to just decorate these pieces so that the icing can dry. So for the windows, I've got a simple star tip on the end of this, and we're just going to run the icing across, just gently. If you hold the piping bag just above where you want the icing to lie, it's a straighter line, just like your windows on your house, maybe. And just a little dot for a door handle there. Okay, so now we're moving on to the green and we're going to do the Christmas tree and the wreath. You don't need to be careful. If it's rustic, it's just fine. A Christmas tree, it's never perfect in its shape, so don't worry about that sort of thing. This one's just got a V-tip on the end and I'm just letting the tip do the work for me. So just press it down. And like I said, the Christmas tree, it's always rustic, so don't worry about it being perfect. Let the icing just take its natural fun form. That's great. We're going to cover it in sparkles and glitter and lollies anyway, so just whatever fun shape comes out. And this is for the wreath. Easy. Okay, so with the wreath, super simple. I'm just going to dip it into the balls like that. Very easy. Not too much mess. And the tree as well. I might just sprinkle those on top. So let's get started on the plate here with our glue, our icing, just along the base. And then as regards where you place it, just a little bit back so that we can get a Santa sitting at the front here and pop it on there. One of the tips is, if you buy yourself, just use a little container to hold it on until you get the sides. So you start with the front, then the sides, take that away, and then the next side is on. And then just put the icing where it's going to stick onto the other pieces of the gingerbread house. You might need to move the pieces so that they join up, but just keep it pretty rustic. And so on with the roof. If you wanted to here, you can fill the gingerbread house with chocolates or lollies or anything you like in there, but do it now, otherwise it'll be too late. So with the roof, you pipe onto the gingerbread house, not the pieces. So the front, and on they go. Just move them. It's still a bit pliable at this stage, so you can move the pieces so that they join up nicely. And there we go. The roof is on. Construction is complete. We are ready for the main decorating now. Pop on whatever you like. Whatever you're going to stick on, just put the icing again on the back. And then the tree. Get your house nice and Christmassy. So I'm going to spend a few fun minutes decorating the rest of the house. And I'll see you back in a little while with it looking beautiful for Christmas. Without some glitter, edible glitter, sprinkle that on. Everyone will wonder, how did she get it to sparkle? Well, that's the secret right there. Just a little bit of edible glitter. I'm going to wrap this one up for one of my kids' teachers at school. They will be very happy to receive this, and I know that my son will be happy to hand it over. He'll be so excited to show up to school with such a beautiful gift for his teacher, and in the cellophane everyone can see all the work that he's helped me with, not with this one, to hand over to the teacher. They can enjoy it on Christmas Day, and it'll be nicely protected as well. Hopefully it'll get there in one piece. I hope you have as much fun making your gingerbread house with all the tips and secrets we've shared today, and enjoy Christmas with your family and friends. From everyone at Stir the Pot here at Paran Market, enjoy a great Christmas, enjoy making your gingerbread houses, and come and check out our Christmas cheer that we have in store for you and your family and all your loved ones. Merry Christmas from all of us.